thank you to the panel that is here. Each of you have added content today that I consider very valuable and necessary for us to hear. I would like to, if I could, point to Colonel Newsham, if I could, please. Colonel Newsham, you are the author of a book that is called When China Attacks, A Warning to America. And part of this is not just related to the things that have been discussed by my colleagues today of drugs, fentanyl, et cetera, but in particular today, I'd like to have you give us the warning, when China attacks, a warning to America, of the newest deadly drug ingredient that has, as the DEA, Milgram has said, her agency has seized more than seen this xylazine, if I'm saying that correctly, when mixed with fentanyl in 48 states. And evidently, fentanyl, on the scale of times, it's 1,000 times more potent than most of the drugs that are on the market, and this is 1,000 times fentanyl. I believe, I'm not a medical doctor, I believe that this is done to kill more Americans because the threshold of the potency that you have to gain knowledge of over time, it's a higher high. Sir, did I pronounce the name right, and can you discuss that? It's spelled Xylazine.
Sir, I think you're close enough. And what I would point out is that the deaths from fentanyl, and this is just the next variation of it, this is like taking
1,000 times more potent, though, perhaps.
It's bad news. But I'd point out, sir, is this is taking 4 or 5 divisions of Marines or Army off the rolls. That's basically what you're doing. We don't have enough recruits in the military, and this is one reason why. And it is something that does track back to the Chinese Communist Party, and it is what they're doing. One thing I'd like to mention, sir, the book that I wrote, it's largely about political warfare. And it's been going on for 30-plus years. And I would suggest that, based on what I've heard today, that Ukraine could disappear. It could have never come along, and you would have the same problem with Chinese political warfare. There's a tendency to conflate the word political warfare, which is a blanket term covering everything from economic to financial to chemical to fishing fleets, to equate it all to propaganda. And that is not the case. And I would say, in fact, that go to Latin America, Africa, the Pacific Islands, and read Chinese propaganda, and they don't mention Ukraine. It never gets a mention. And that is something really is important to keep in mind. And it is condescending, I think, to think that the Chinese are so stupid that they can't do anything without asking the Russians how to do it.
Well,
back
I
to your
think
drugs,
that would be,
that's
yes,
really
I think
killing.
that's a point of influencing. They have this line on influencing. Let's go back to the things that we were speaking about, and that is that you have accurately, I think, described. The Chinese have a way that will diminish the amount of military-age young people that this country produces by aiming their drugs at us, by causing the deaths of thousands of young people, if not addiction of other types of drugs. You believe that they're really very smart of getting at young people, causing their, if not addiction, demise, or death, and that's why they keep coming up with new drugs that are designed for that purpose. Is that your point?
That is how it works. And also, sir, the successful economic warfare, which is part of political warfare, that ships so much of our manufacturing over to China, it leaves these societies that are just dead and vulnerable to drug warfare, like we're seeing. It all feeds on itself. And you can see the military effect that has on our military. The death total we talk about, well, it's 10 times more people who were not killed but are not functional. And this is something, it is what the Chinese have done, the Chinese communists have done really throughout their entire existence.
And really, it's a parasite designed to kill the host. They have put it in front of Americans, and Americans have, so to speak, taken the bait. Thank you very much for your feedback. I would now yield my time.